The South Seas Evangelical Church is an evangelical, Pentecostal church in the Solomon Islands. In total, 17% of the population of the Solomon Islands adheres to the church, making it the third most common religious affiliation in the country behind the Anglican Church of Melanesia and the Roman Catholic Church. The SSEC is particularly popular on Malaita, the most populous island, where 47% of its members live. There are also smaller populations on Guadalcanal, Honiara, Makira, and other provinces. History. The organization was founded in 1886 as the Queensland Kanaka Mission in Queensland, Australia, as an evangelical and non-denominational church targeting Kanakas. Florence Young, the sister of Arthur, Horace and Ernest Young, the owners of the Fairy Mead plantation on which the mission was located, was largely responsible for the establishment of the mission, and served as secretary of the organization. At its height in 1904-05, it employed 19 missionaries, 118 unpaid native teachers, and celebrated 2,150 conversions. Young used Pidgin English and illustrations to explain the resurrection and other Christian ideas. The South Seas Evangelical Mission was established in 1904 by Young as a branch of the Queensland Kanaka Mission. Its purpose was to follow the workers back to the homeland and maintain the religious instruction there. At the time, fewer workers were coming, due to the White Australia policy. Florence Young continued to administer the organization from Sydney and Katoomba, and made annual trips to the island until 1926. Between 1906 and 1920, the SSEM established small enclaves on the coast of islands. On Malaita, these enclaves were always under threat from the more powerful bush groups. The first missionary in the Quiet Territory, for instance, was killed, ostensibly to purify a curse, but more because of the perceived threat to the power. Under pressure from the British Solomon Islands Protectorate, the mission reevaluated its language policy, and in the 1920s began to use English as a medium of instruction instead of Pidgin's or local languages. However, to facilitate understanding, they devised a simplified English. The SSEM was criticized for using its religious influence to support the Malaita Company, which was led by the Young family in Queensland, and maintained close connections with the mission. After World War II, the experience of many Solomon Islanders that not all whites are strict Christians made some upset that the SSEM withheld what they saw as the real key to power: education beyond literacy. Some whites were then ejected from churches as Malaita Bible teachers participated in the mass inner rule movement. The South Seas Evangelical Church was established in 1964 under its current name, and became independent from the mission in 1975. Beliefs and practices. The SSEC is strict with regard to behavior of its members, who are not permitted to drink alcohol, chew betel nuts or smoke. Both men and women are active in all aspects of the church's activities. The SSEC discourages performance of traditional forms of music, such as AIEAR panpipe ensembles, because they appear as related to the traditional ancestor worship, the spirits of which are considered devils. In the Solomon Islands there are a number of schools sponsored by the SSEC, which, like other religious schools in the Solomon Islands, receive subsidies from the government. In the missionary work, they have used a few Europeans, but they primarily train natives as Bible teachers, and arrange to have them teach the home community. The SSEM publishes the work Not in Vain, which includes annual reports, financial statements, and SSEM letters.